Hello everyone and welcome back to Lifelens TV. I'm Jennifer Harrison and today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating political plays happening on the African continent right now. President William Ruto's masterclass in leadership is on full display as he seizes every opportunity that comes his way. And this time, he's doing it on the grand stage of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Now, what makes this moment special is that it's not just about Ruto. It's about how he's using this platform to advance the candidacy of none other than Raila Odinga for the African Union Commission chairmanship. Yes, the former Prime Minister of Kenya is in the race for one of the most significant positions on the continent. And believe me, this is a strategic move that is being carefully orchestrated, step by step, as we speak. So let's break this down.
Shareholder, I thought about dividends.
Ruto, being the strategic leader that he is, knows how to utilize every opportunity to his advantage. He arrived in New York on September 21st for the 79th United Nations General Assembly, and from the get-go, it was clear that he had more than just the summit on his agenda. Together with Raila, they began lobbying for Raila's bid for the African Union top seat, and one of the first major steps was securing the backing of Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. For those of you who might not know, President Faye is a rising star in African politics. At just 44 years old, he's the continent's youngest leader, having been elected earlier this year in March. Faye has been a trailblazer, focusing on fighting corruption, addressing injustice, and lifting people out of poverty. His message is all about bringing systemic change to Senegal, and it's resonating across Africa. In a meeting on the sidelines of the UNG summit, Ruto and Raila sat down with President Faye, and the conversation focused on strengthening ties between Kenya and Senegal. But the key takeaway here was Faye's agreement to back Raila for the AU chairmanship. That's a huge win for Raila's campaign, and it's a sign of just how much momentum is building behind his bid. Now let's zoom out a bit. Raila Odinga faces stiff competition in this race. He's up against candidates from Djibouti, Mauritius, and Madagascar, all of whom are vying to succeed the outgoing AU Commission chairperson, Moussa Faki. The African Union is set to hold elections in February 2025, and positions are open not just for the chairperson, but also for deputy chairperson and 6 commissioner posts. President Ruto, since arriving in New York, has been working tirelessly to drum up support for Raila. And this isn't something that just started at the UN. Earlier this month, during his trip to Beijing, Ruto met with 6 African presidents, leaders from Togo, Mali, Rwanda, Guinea-Bissau, Chad and Zambia. And guess what? The focus of those talks? Raila's AU Commission candidacy. Ruto knows that Raila's extensive political experience, his relationships across Africa, and his vision for the continent make him a strong contender for the AU chairperson role. But what's even more important is the way Ruto is lining up support from different regions. We've already seen backing from East Africa. Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, and South Sudan are all on board. And now, with Senegal's support from the West, Raila's campaign is gaining critical traction. And it's not just the heads of state who are getting behind Raila. There's also a growing movement among African youth leaders.
The PanAfrican Youth Congress.
In fact, a section of youth leaders from 13 African countries recently endorsed Raila's candidacy. These young leaders, under the banner of the Pan-African Youth Convention, see Raila as a visionary with the courage to tackle the continent's biggest challenges head-on. In their statement, they described Raila's vision for Africa as authentic and highlighted how he's not afraid to confront the very real issues that Africa faces, whether it's climate change, economic recovery, or regional security. They spoke about how Raila's optimism, passion, and determination make him the kind of leader who can bring about progressive change across the continent. Now let's get back to the UNGA summit itself. Raila is right there in New York, alongside President Ruto, This is all part of a well-coordinated strategy to ensure that Raila is seen and heard on the global stage. His secretariat has made it clear that they are going to leverage every international forum, every diplomatic meeting, to secure support for his AU bid. On Monday, Ruto and Raila had another key meeting, this time with President Diomaye Faye of Senegal. This was part of a series of engagements planned with various African leaders attending the summit. The focus of the talks: strengthening the ties between Kenya and Senegal, and of course gaining Senegal's backing for Raila's campaign. Ruto made it clear that Kenya is committed to deepening its ties with Senegal, advancing shared goals like peace, development, and continental integration. And Raila? He took the opportunity to lay out his vision for the African Union, emphasizing the need for unity and development across the continent. He also spoke about how critical it is to address the pressing issues Africa is facing right now, everything from climate change to regional security. As we move closer to the AU elections in February 2025, one of the factors that will play a significant role is language. Africa is a multilingual continent, and there are 21 francophone, French-speaking countries, alongside 24 English-speaking nations. This language divide can influence voting patterns in the AU elections. Djibouti, for instance, is a major contender for the AU chairmanship, and French is one of its official languages. This is why Raila's campaign is so focused on engaging with leaders from Francophone Africa, as well as Anglophone countries. Securing support across language lines is going to be crucial in determining the outcome of this election. It's also worth noting that Raila has been building his case on the international stage for quite some time now. Earlier this month, he was part of the delegation to China for the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, where he continued to promote his candidacy. And just last week, he accompanied President Ruto to Germany, further underscoring his influence and reach in the global arena. So what does all of this mean for Kenya and for Africa? Raila's extensive political experience and established relationships across the continent position him as a strong candidate for the AU chairperson role. His strategic networking at international forums like the UNGA reflects the ongoing efforts to gain support from fellow African leaders. At the end of the day, this isn't just about one man's ambition. It's about the future of Africa and how the continent can work together to solve its most pressing problems. Whether it's economic recovery, climate change, or peace and security, the leadership of the African Union will play a pivotal role in shaping Africa's future. So there you have it, a deep dive into the political strategy at play as Raila Odinga makes his bid for the African Union Commission chairmanship. President Ruto is pulling out all the stops to ensure that Raila secures this influential position, and it's clear that this campaign is only just getting started. Thanks for watching Lifelens TV, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about Raila's chances. Will his extensive political experience and strategic alliances be enough to clinch the AU chairperson seat? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm Jennifer Harrison, and until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay tuned for more on Africa's evolving political landscape.